This is unprecedented. We really are doing something in response to an urgent humanitarian crisis across our state.
Lawmakers in Salem struck a deal on a large package of housing and homelessness bills and are moving forward with speed rarely seen around the Capitol. Katu's Christina Giardinelli is on your side tonight, breaking down what the bill does just in time for a final public hearing tomorrow.
Eviction protection sparked a lot of public interest from the start of this legislative session. A few weeks ago, a public hearing on Senate Bill 799 was packed with the landlords and tenants testifying for and against the bill. Lawmakers and stakeholders on both sides had to compromise, and a watered-down version of that measure is now part of this larger package. Sybil Hebb is an attorney with the Oregon Law Center and a lobbyist for the tenant groups.
The bill retains 6 critical issues that were in Senate Bill 799, and it removes 2 of the issues that were in Senate Bill 799.
For example, it removes a 60-day safe harbor period that would give tenants more time to seek rent assistance, but it increases the notice for non-payment eviction from the current 72-hour notice to a 10-day notice. Representative Maxine Dexter, who is sponsoring the larger package, says it took a lot of work behind the scenes to reach an agreement.
There were conversations that followed up on that hearing to get to a place where both tenants and landlords felt like they were moving a bill with the package that everyone could either be supportive of or neutral.
I know that there are some discussions on compromise that happen behind the scenes, but what could you say to the public on how these things take place and how they can follow along with those conversations that are important to them in situations like these?
Yeah, I think that part of this is the advocacy groups who have the interests of the different constituencies or the different stakeholders.
She says engaging with those groups is the best way to make sure you're represented in compromises that happen after public hearings.
This $130 million spending plan is a request that must be approved by an entire state legislature. And tonight we're already getting signals that the proposal will get the support of leadership in both the state House and Senate.
Rent relief, more beds and shelters, money for tribes, and more are included in Governor Tina Kotek's $130 million spending package to address homelessness. The largest expenses in her proposal include nearly $55 million for rehousing and leasing at least 600 vacant homes and more, $33.6 million for rent relief and eviction prevention, and nearly $24 million to add 600 low-barrier shelter beds statewide.
We're not going to build our way out of this.
Scott Kerman of Portland's Blanchet House says repurposing vacant buildings for housing and preventing homelessness will help the nonprofit function.
Anything that we can do to at least sort of keep the status quo in terms of the number of unhoused is going to help our agency and agencies all over the state that are serving people who are unhoused.
State Democrats in Salem signaled their initial support for Kotek's plan on Thursday. Senate President Rob Wagner said, quote, "Homelessness and lack of affordable housing are the most urgent crises facing our state right now. The Senate is ready to match Governor Kotek's urgency." House Speaker Dan Rayfield said their first reaction is, quote, "There is a lot of alignment on values and general approaches between the governor's ask and what we have been vetting for our housing investments package." House Republicans told us they would comment on the plan Friday, while Senate Republicans said they want to see more details before taking a stance.
It's her hitting the ground running.
K2 political analyst Jim Moore says Kotek's plan certainly follows up on her campaign promise to address housing. However, there is still time for more ideas to come to the table.
In Oregon's legislative history, with a new governor especially, it has happened all the time that, in effect, an early push by the governor gets sidestepped because a better idea or an idea that's going to pass is something that gathers steam and moves on through the legislature.